The midnight doorway, what lurks beyond. It started when I moved into my grandmother's old house. She had passed away months ago, leaving me her isolated Victorian-style home deep in the countryside. It was beautiful but unsettling, tall, narrow, and filled with winding hallways that seemed longer at night. While unpacking, I noticed something odd about the house's layout. The second floor had a hallway with 6 doors. But something wasn't right. The air felt heavy, almost suffocating, as if the walls themselves were closing in. A chill ran down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. According to the floor plan, there were only supposed to be 5 rooms. I had studied the blueprint meticulously, every nook and cranny, every corner and crevice. There was no mention of a 6th door anywhere. Yet there it was, a 6th door, wedged in the middle of the hall. It seemed to appear out of nowhere, defying logic and reason. The door looked ancient, as if it had been there for centuries, hidden in plain sight. Unlike the others, it had no handle, no keyhole. It was as if the door was never meant to be opened, a silent guardian of whatever lay beyond. The surface was smooth, almost too smooth, like polished stone, just a simple black frame, as if someone had sealed it shut long ago. The black frame seemed to absorb the light around it, casting an ominous shadow. It was a door that invited questions but offered no answers, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. I felt a chill creep up my spine. Had I always seen this door, or had it just appeared? That night, I lay in bed, exhausted from moving. Just as I was drifting into sleep, a sound cut through the silence. Knock, knock, knock. My eyes snapped open. The sound came from the hallway. I sat up, heart hammering. Knock, 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 slow, rhythmic, coming from the 6th door. I held my breath. I told myself it was just the house settling, just my imagination playing tricks. But then, the knocking stopped, and something scratched at the wood, like fingernails. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next day I called my mother. She had grown up in this house, so I asked her about the 6th door. Silence. Then she sighed. The room was filled with an eerie stillness, the kind that makes your skin crawl. Shadows danced on the walls and the air felt heavy, almost suffocating. I was hoping you wouldn't notice it. My stomach twisted. The unease was palpable, a gnawing sensation that something was terribly wrong. Her eyes darted around, avoiding mine. So, you know about it? She hesitated. Her voice was barely a whisper, trembling with fear. The weight of the secret hung between us, thick and oppressive. Your grandmother used to tell me never to go near it. Her words echoed in my mind, a haunting reminder of the past. The old tales she told, filled with warnings and omens, suddenly felt all too real. She said it wasn't meant to be open. Why? I asked. Another pause. The silence was deafening, each second stretching into an eternity. My heart pounded in my chest. Because it only appears at midnight. The clock struck 12, and a chill ran down my spine. The darkness seemed to deepen, and the air grew colder. Midnight was here, and with it, the revelation. I felt my blood turn to ice. I had seen the door during the day, which meant it was getting stronger. That night, at exactly 12 a.m., I stepped into the hallway. The air was wrong, thick, heavy, like something unseen was watching me. And then, the door creaked open, on its own. A wave of freezing air spilled out. The room beyond was pitch black. I should have run, but something called to me, a whisper, curling through the dark. Come closer. I took a step forward. The darkness moved, almost alive, as if it had a will of its own. It was an unsettling feeling, like stepping into a living, breathing entity. Shapes slithered, shifting in the void beyond the doorway. They seemed to be watching me, waiting for my next move. The air was thick with tension, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. And then I saw them. Hands. They were not just any hands, but ghostly, sinister hands that seemed to materialize out of nowhere. Pale, skeletal hands reaching out from the abyss. They moved with a purpose, as if they had been waiting for me all along, their bony fingers stretching towards me, trying to pull me in. I could feel their cold, clammy grip tightening around me, dragging me deeper into the darkness. It was a struggle to break free, but I knew I had to fight. I stumbled backward, heart slamming against my ribs. The whispers turned to screams. A sudden force slammed the door shut, and the hallway fell silent. By morning, the sixth door was gone. Only a blank wall remained. I tried to convince myself it was a dream, a hallucination. But deep down I knew the truth. The door was never gone. It was waiting. And one night, when the clock strikes midnight, it will open again. Gap 2S. Determined to uncover the truth behind the mysterious door, the protagonist begins an investigation. They scour through old archives, searching for any mention of the house or the peculiar door. Hours turn into days and days into weeks, as the protagonist becomes consumed by the search. Gap 2S. They find old blueprints of the house, but there's no record of the door ever existing. They interview former residents and neighbors, but no one recalls anything unusual. The frustration builds, but so does their resolve. Gap 2S. One night, while sifting through dusty, forgotten documents, they stumble upon a faded journal. It belongs to the house's original owner, who writes about a door that shouldn't be opened, a door that leads to places unknown. The entries are cryptic, filled with warnings and tales of those who dared to open it and were never the same again. Gap 2S. The protagonist realizes they are not the first to be haunted by this door, but they are determined to be the last. Armed with this new knowledge, they prepare for the night when the clock strikes midnight once more. Gap 2S. With the weight of the journal's warnings pressing down on them, the protagonist realizes they need more than just determination to face what lies beyond the door. Gap 2S. They reach out to a renowned paranormal expert, known for their deep understanding of the supernatural and unexplainable phenomena. Gap 2S. After several days of anxious waiting, the expert arrives at the house, bringing with them an array of ancient tools and books. Gap 2S. The atmosphere is tense as they walk through the house, pausing at the doorway where the mysterious door once stood. Gap 2S. The expert begins a series of rituals, chanting in a language long forgotten. The air grows thick with energy, and the room feels colder. Gap 2S. As the ritual progresses, the expert's face grows more serious. They reveal that the door is not just a portal, but a trap set by a malevolent force seeking to ensnare souls. Gap 2S. The expert warns that confronting this force will require immense courage and a willingness to face one's deepest fears. Gap 2S. The protagonist feels a chill run down their spine, but remains resolute. They know there is no turning back now. Gap 2S. With the expert's guidance, they prepare for the final confrontation, armed with new knowledge and a strengthened resolve. Gap 2S. The clock ticking towards midnight feels like a countdown to destiny. Gap 2S. With the expert's rituals complete and the final confrontation looming, the protagonist steels themselves for what lies ahead. Gap 2S. Midnight arrives and a sudden deafening silence fills the house. Gap 2S. The air feels electrified, as if anticipating a monumental revelation. Gap 2S. The expert signals the protagonist to step forward, towards the space where the door once stood. Gap 2S. As they approach, a faint glow begins to emanate from the wall, and the outline of the door reappears, shimmering with an otherworldly light. Gap 2S. The protagonist reaches out, and as their hand touches the glowing outline, a wave of energy surges through them. Gap 2S. The door swings open, revealing not a dark abyss, but a mirror reflecting the protagonist's own face. Gap 2S. The expert gasps, their eyes widening in realization. Gap 2S. The mirror begins to ripple, and the protagonist's reflection speaks in a voice that is both theirs and not theirs. Gap 2S. You sought to uncover the truth, the reflection intones. Gap 2S. But the door was never a trap set by an external force. Gap 2S. It was a manifestation of your own fears and unresolved past. Gap 2S. The protagonist stares in shock as memories long buried flood their mind. Childhood traumas, unspoken regrets, and suppressed emotions. Gap 2S. The expert steps back, understanding dawning on them. Gap 2S. The door was a test, they whisper. Gap 2S. A journey to confront and reconcile with your inner demons. Gap 2S. The protagonist realizes that the only way to close the door for good is to face these memories head-on. Gap 2S. With a deep breath, they step through the mirror into a realm of their own psyche. Gap 2S. The scene shifts to a serene, light-filled space where the protagonist confronts their past selves, offering forgiveness and acceptance. Gap 2S. As they do, the mirror begins to dissolve, the door fading into nothingness. Gap 2S. The house returns to normal, the oppressive atmosphere lifting. Gap 2S. The protagonist emerges, transformed with a newfound sense of peace and understanding. Gap 2S. The expert nods in approval, knowing their work is done. Gap 2S. The true nature of the door was not a portal to another world, but a gateway to self-discovery and healing. This is the end of our journey, but not forever.